Hi everyone, this is kind of an impromptu video. It is Sunday and we are going out for lunch. My whole family and the family of really great friends, and I'm really excited. So I thought I'd sit down and do my makeup with you. It's such a gloomy day outside. Honestly, this makeup is going to perk up the mood. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm going to start with my eyes, and I'm just going to put some eye patches on just to moisturize under my eyes. I'm using the Peter Thomas Roth Cucumber Detox patches. They're quite moisturizing. I don't use them all the time, but because I forget too much on the mind. And when I do remember, I'm always glad that I've done it. This is just going to be very casual. We'll chit chat along the way. We'll see how far I can get before I'm interrupted, because it is Sunday and I usually don't film when my children are home, but we'll see. I'll leave a little count on the screen of how many times my children interrupt me, even though I've told them I'm going to be filming. I mean, they're kids. They want their mommy, right? I'm going to start off with the Makeup Forever HD Skin Concealer. I haven't used this in so long and I actually really enjoy it. And it's in the shade 2.2N. Just a little bit on the eyelids. Spread this out with my Angie Hot and Flashy. I love going out for lunch on Sundays. It's one of my favorite things to do because we spend our weekends catching up and running errands, and I really am trying to make a point of stopping, actually enjoying the weekend, making sure that we get some family time together and enjoy some nice food, get out of the house. And today we'll be spending some time with our friends too, which is even better. Okay, I'm going to be using the new Natasha Denona Hyper Natural palette again today. I did a whole video reviewing it, but I want to keep testing it out just to make sure that I have my final thoughts on it. I do know that I love it, but I want to continue to use it to make sure that it's going to end up being in my daily rotation, something that I will use every day. If I don't end up using it every day, it doesn't mean I don't love it. I just want to know how functional it is and how often it would enter into my makeup routine. When I tested this palette out, I did not powder or set my eyelids because the eyeshadows in here are creamy. I am going to powder today and see if there is a difference. Just going to grab a little bit of my Prism Libre, and this is a Real Techniques brush. Set my eyelids very lightly because I am going to use the bronzers in the palette to add to my crease as kind of like a transition shade. I'm taking a rougher 15 and I think I'm going to jump into the center shade here. It's such a gloomy day. It's foggy. You just want to crawl back into bed kind of day. I'm really hoping the fog lifts and we get a little bit of sun today, but highly doubt that. I'm not going to worry too much about the edges because I will clean that up when I do my base. I think what I want to do is dip into this shade right here, Everyday, the Everyday shade. It was my favorite when I tested this out. I'm going in with a rougher 28. I don't feel like using my fingers today. Okay, so I have a powdered lid and it's going on fine. I'm not noticing much of a difference, only that maybe it's not gliding on as easily and I have to keep building it up, but it's not affecting it too much. I think I'm going to have to go with my finger. Yes, okay, so there we go. That's much easier, a lot more impact, a lot more quickly when you use your finger. I feel a little low energy today. I hope it's not coming across. I'm sure it's coming across. I'm just kind of like, meh, today. It is the weather. The weather affects me so much. So much. I don't like that it does. I wish that I could kind of put it aside and not have it affect my mood the way that it does, but I have just accepted the fact that my mood goes with the weather and that's just how it is. And I deal with it. My kids haven't interrupted me yet. I am shocked. We're only 5 minutes in though. Give it some time. Give it some time. Is that showing up? It's very subtle. It's very, very subtle. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it there. It is lunch. I don't want to overdo it. I don't want anything too sparkly. But this everyday shade has golden undertone and it kind of comes through. So it's not a flat. It's very, very beautiful. Okay, I'm going to grab my Makeup by Mario Pro pencil in the perfect brown, and I'm just going to glide this along my lash line, trying to stay as close to my lash line as possible. I just want a little bit more definition there. This family we're going out to lunch with, I adore. They're the sweetest family ever, and our children are friends as well, which is amazing. And they're also our neighbors. Isn't it great when it works out that way? I'm going to tight line on my waterline as well. Isn't it great when your neighbors actually turn into your good friends? I love that. Okay, I'm going to leave it right here. I'm not going to do any wings just yet. You have a lot of playtime with this. I don't want to apply it to the other eye before I smudge this eye out. So I'm taking my Nikki N11 angled brush. I love this brush for this exact purpose, and just start smudging this out. Very short, light touches along the lash line. Now I'm at the end here and I want to start kind of flicking outwards. Take my pinky too, kind of guide it, pick it up from the brush just so that I don't put too much on there. Get a little bit more pigment on that brush and create a little bit of a baby wing. I'm going to have to hold just a little bit. I don't want to pull out too much because then when my skin goes back, the line will not be where you think it is. So just a little bit of help making the skin a little bit more taut so it can just glide on, but I know exactly where I want to go. Okay, so if you already know where you want your line to end, it's okay to pull back just very gently to make sure that it glides on, because I have a lot of fine lines there. They seem to be multiplying daily. So we have a little bit of a flick there, nothing insane, nothing crazy. I'm going to do the other eye, not bore you, and I'll be back. I am noticing that the eyeshadow doesn't look as smooth as it did on unpowdered lids. When I put it on with unpowdered lids, it was so smooth on the eyelid. And today it's looking a little bit more textured. My eyelids look a little bit more textured, not as smooth as they did without. So note to self. It doesn't look bad, but I can definitely see the difference. This is why you have to test out a product kind of different ways if it's called for, just to see, how to best use it and if your first impression is warranted. I mean, it is, first impressions matter, of course, but with makeup, you do have to test things out a little bit just so you can finalize your opinions on them. However, I'm loving this shadow, this shade. But again, when you do your eyes before the rest of your makeup, it's never final. It's not final. We have a long way to go. We have things to do. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna curl my lashes now using my Refer. Oh, I can't get. They must be playing musical chairs down there. Okay. Oh Lord. As I was saying, my Refer eyelash curler. Okay. Yes. Okay, I'm back. Curled the lashes, and I'm going to use my Milk Kush eyelash primer just to add a little bit more volume and length before we go in with mascara. And when I put this on, I try to comb them in the direction that I want the lashes to go, which is up and out. Then I'm going to go in with my Benefit Fan Fast Mascara. I'm loving this mascara. Lift, length, and volume without it being too much. Like it's such a great mascara. I love it. There, and just lift the corners. Okay, mascara is done. I'm going to take these patches off, and whatever's left over, which isn't much, I find, I'm just going to tap into my under eye just to absorb that moisture that's left over. I'm going to grab my Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer. And this primer is very good at erasing pores. And I am looking a little bit pory. Porosy. I don't know. Whatever it's called. I can see my pores more than usual, and I don't know what that's about. This is very good at doing that. And where I have my pores is right here. And this is where I place this. I don't put it all over my face. Not too much, very little. A little bit in those areas just makes them disappear. I'm noticing some over here as well. And a little bit right here on my forehead. Oh, on my chin too. So basically I can see my pores in my T-zone, which is where if I do produce any oil, visible oil, that's the area where that happens. That is done. And now I'm going to grab my Tom Ford. I've been using this all month. Of course, I'm working on my February favorites and fails. I don't know what I'm going to call it. I called it, I love, in like, no thanks, and it's complicated in my January roundup. And I don't know if I want to continue with that. If you guys have seen that and you have an opinion either way, whether you like that format or not, can you let me know? Because if you don't, I won't continue it. I'll just call it favorites and fails like everybody else. But I don't want to be like everybody else. So I was trying to think of a way to go through all the products that I used over the month that I've tested enough to be able to give you my opinion on. Okay, that Tom Ford primer is on. Now, let's work on these under eyes because they're not unacceptable. And so we're going to have to fix them. So when I ordered the HyperNatural palette from Natasha Denona, I picked up one of her color correctors. Now, I love the concealer, and I never did pick up the color corrector from her. I do not know why. I've used it a couple of times, and dare I say, we may have a contender to knock Miss Charlotte Tilbury off her top spot for color correcting. Now, I'm not going to say it just yet because I've only used it a couple of times. And I will mention this one in my roundup. But what I'm noticing about this is that it is, yes, a liquid, but it has some grip to it where I still have control. This is, I think, my third time using this. I've yet to finalize I know I like it, but I haven't finalized my thoughts on it. But you see, look at the darkness over here. And I just put a tiny bit. I don't want to put a lot of color corrector underneath my eyes because I don't want layers and layers, because I am going to go in with my concealer. But that has done a very good job. All right, moving on to concealer. I'm going to use the same HD concealer. I always forget about this concealer, and I love it. It's got some really good coverage. It's creamy, almost moisturizing, and I'm just going to spread this under my eye. I'm going to tap this in with my finger just to press it in there, because I don't want to add more product. Then it'll get all cakey and bunched up. Just a little bit more here, 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 where I see the most darkness. And I might as well just go under my nose here, brighten that up a little bit. I'm going to let that sit for a little bit before we do any powder. Just let it settle, move in. Get comfy. And I'm shaking up my House Labs Tri-Clone Skin Tech Foundation. I use the shade 200 Light Medium Neutral, and I haven't used it in a hot minute. BK Beauty 101. I think I needed some more moisture on my face. I don't know what's going on. I'm super dry today, and I haven't changed anything in my routine. I love this foundation. It's a medium coverage, buildable, leaves a beautiful finish to the skin. Okay, I'm going to build it up just a little bit more in the areas which I need it. Just right here and right here. I'm going to powder now because I'm using the HyperNatural palette again for my bronzer and blush. So I am going to need, for this to settle in, I'm going to add a smidge of powder. Tap out my under eyes. I miss this step sometimes, but it's like a genius step. MAC Fix Plus, just a smidge on my fingers. Whoops, tap them, and then set the under eyes. Let that dry for a couple of seconds, and then powder. Prism Libre, a number 3, and again, my Real Techniques, dipping in just a little bit, diffusing, and then very lightly. Oops, interruption number 2. Is it 2 or 3 right now? I can't remember. One sec. Same powder in my Hourglass Veil brush, and I'm just dusting ever so lightly. Okay, perfect. Now we're ready for bronzer and blush. Back into the Natasha Denona Hyper Natural palette. I'm swirling just the first two bronzer contour shades. Patrick Ta dual-ended brush and bronzing up the face. Don't even have to tap this off, but it's force of habit. Okay. If I get a little bit of that darker shade in there by accident, it's not a big deal. Very quick, very easy, gorgeous. I love the neutrality of these. Not too warm, not too cool. Just the way I like it. A little bit under the jaw here. My Patrick Ta little contour double-ended brush. Love this. I'm going to go into the lightest bronzer shade with this side of the brush and just a little bit of contour on the nose. And use the other side just to buff it out. And let's do a little bit under the lip. Fluffy angled brush, and I like to use this for blush, and I'm going into just the lightest shade for now, and then I'll see if I want to add some more intensity to it, because I want to keep this fresh and light. And even though it's really gross outside, this little pop of pink here is going to brighten everyone's day up. They're going to see these pink cheeks and they're going to be like, oh, that's fun. Yeah, I think I'm going to stay in this lane right here today. Just a hint of pink. I have to build it up just a little bit. A little bit on my nose. I'm going to go into Dreamy. Just a little. Just a little. And this is the one that has fallout. So I'm going to be very careful. I just want to add a little bit of brightness to this inner corner here. Just a little bit. I'm being very, very careful. It's not over the top. It's just adding a little bit of brightness and glimmer in here. I'm going to go back into my Nikki N11 angled brush, and I'm going to go back into the bronzer, the middle shade, and I'm just going to shade a little bit my lash line here just to give it a little bit of definition. I think I want to add some of this Perfect Brown pencil in my waterline down here, just for a little bit more oomph. And it's a brown, it's not that harsh. Okay, and then just a little bit of mascara, just touching the lower lashes, just touching them. Okay, what's left? Eyebrows and lips. Anastasia brow gel. I do love this. It's just I have to be a little bit careful because it's a little bit large and I don't want to get too much of it on the skin around my eyebrows. Okay, I'm going to grab my Patrick Ta pencil. This is in medium brown, I think, and just fill in the areas that I need filling. For lipstick, I think I want to use my Valentino Liquid Rosso in the shade After Club. I love this. It's a beautiful peachy nude. So this tip is very pointed and the applicator is extremely flat, so it's easy to create a line with it without having to go in with liner. I love this liquid lipstick. I rant and rave about it. It's the most comfortable liquid lipstick ever. Okay, no liner, nothing. Easy. Easy, easy, easy. Okay, well, that was eventful. Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. Oh, my hair is just always an issue. Okay, I'm so hungry right now. I can't wait. We're going to a Portuguese restaurant and it's so good. I love Portuguese food. So, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching this impromptu last minute video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. That would be amazing. And I will see you in my next one. Bye.